Major moves, we going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves, we making major moves, we making moves, we making major moves, we making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm Mr. Man. It's been a hot minute, I want to say, since I made a nice breakdown, deep dive video like this. And trust me, this will be a breakdown, deep dive video that you will not want to miss. So my recommendations are like, subscribe, and share. Share. Because anybody who's in this crypto realm and understands this crypto space, or wants to be in this crypto realm and wants to understand this crypto space, I can help you with that. I like to break things down into plain English and make it easy for y'all to understand. So that being said, let's just jump right into this. Today, I feel like Twitter is, or X, whatever you want to call it now, is cock blocking my stuff when I put it out there. And I say that because I can see here, and you can see it too, this video here of Hyunsong Shin from the BIS. And in this video here, my guy breaks down in detail what the unified ledger is, what the roles of the intermediaries will play, which governing bodies are involved, and the rule book that is needed for the governing bodies to adhere to. And this goes back to another, well, I guess my thesis overall, that I believe that this unified ledger that the BIS speaks of is the Xrpl with the siloed RippleNet on there. So I'll play this video, well, not the video, I'll play the audio of it first because I have the audio. And then I will play the previous video to give you more context about that. And then I will open this up even further. So, that being said, here we go.
Early 1600s. I mean, that kind of bank was exactly this type of intermediary that maintained money as ledger entries. And, that function of issuing money is actually still alive today. I mean, that's what central banks do. They actually issue money.
Indeed. Let's turn to the practicalities of this. We know that setting up a whole new financial market infrastructure is quite complicated, quite a big endeavor, and it has the network effect problem. So you need everybody to be in it so that everybody can benefit the most. How would it start? How would a unified ledger start? And how would it be organized? Like, who would manage it? Would it be the central bank? Would it be private? How many ledgers would there be? Or would it be like one big global ledger or any small ones?
Well, definitely not one big global ledger. At least, certainly not at this, not in this sort of sense of one ledger to rule them all. So when we say unified ledger, we don't mean a single ledger. What we mean is a ledger that combines different elements. And the answer to your question, and your question is a very good one, which is who's going to be involved, what will be on the unified ledger. The answer is the unified ledger will have the elements that are needed to knit together the various transactions, and only those elements. So if you're interested in securities transactions, what we will need is something. So we would need a CBDC, first of all, for the settlement. We would have tokenized deposits so that we can, allow people to pay and receive payment. We would need tokenized versions of the securities themselves. And so that way we can have the trading and the settlement all happening, on that unified ledger. If it's the supply chain problem, then what we would need is, there to be banks there to provide loans. We would need, it could be that there are other instruments like commercial paper that firms can issue. But what we would need is also the the ability to import information about the real world, about the state of the world. So that would be another element which has to do with the information that actually underlies the unified ledger. Now, how would we get there? Well, certainly we could get some of the functionalities of the unified ledger by interlinking the current infrastructure that we have. So, we could get something like programmability by having interfaces like application programming interfaces, APIs so-called, that actually mimic some of the programmability features. And you could get some fairly elaborate ways of piecing together the different pieces. But what we say in the chapter is there will be a limit to how complex this incremental change will be, because with each layer you're going to have to take account of the backwards compatibility. So whatever layer that you put on top is going to have to be compatible with the layers below, and this introduces, of course, complexity. It's going to limit what you can do. So for example, it's going to limit to what extent you can actually have payment versus payment, payment versus delivery, the nature of the programmability. And so at some point, it would be better, we argue, to go to a new financial market infrastructure. So a brand new infrastructure that can, start with a clean slate. Now, who would be involved? Well, here, of course, there are intermediaries, but the role of the intermediaries is different from the standard market, because, in the current system, the intermediaries are actually bookkeepers. They are account managers. They are entrusted to update the entries in the books. In the unified ledger, the intermediaries are not doing the day-to-day stuff because the transactions are actually programmable. Their role is much more in the governance realm. So they're there to take part in the governance, make sure that the rule book is up to date, and if the rule book needs to be changed, they are actually going to be involved in convening all the interested parties to get the rule book. So who are they? Well, it could be entities like the securities, some private sector, clearing houses, for example, who currently today play the role of intermediaries through these various platforms. They are actually facilitating exchange. They are actually making sure that the system is sound. We need some form of money, and that money is going to be provided by commercial banks. So we need commercial banks involved. But as we've said before, ultimately we need a settlement asset, and that's the central bank form of money. That central bank money, and so the central bank is also going to have to be involved.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I couldn't have said it any better myself, which is why I didn't say it, and I left it for Hyun Song to say it, because he says it marvelously there. Again, this is just my hypothesis. I'm not saying this is what it is, but as I go through it, and as he's talking, and I match up what this document suggests here, do the math, right? 1 + 1 seems to equal 5 to me. So now then, down below here, listen to this video here. This is one I posted in the past. I don't even remember when it was. May. This is back in May, so check it out. Let me just...
You would have the related liabilities. So this is the whole concept of all-in. So if we look at a little bit from a schematic view how an infrastructure could look like, it's basically you would have in a shared ledger, you would have a partition of the central bank, and you would have the accounts from the commercial banks. So if from a corporate from Bank A wants to transfer money to a corporate which is connected to Bank B, you would have at the same time atomic settlement of the transaction through a simultaneous update of balances, not just on the bank side, but also in the central bank partition. So this would allow RLN to become really a settlement layer for settling central bank money and commercial bank money in the same environment. So therefore, there are a couple of key building blocks which are described in the paper. So RLN, and the whole idea is RLN to become a public-private partnership. So to bring both worlds together, to form a regulated network. It should be a global network. It should be based on DLT. It should be multi-currency, multi-asset, and it should be multi-network. And it should, of course, support programmability. So, and what would it bring us if we would have such a network? It would always be on, so we would have 24/7 settlement possibility. It would be secure and resilient. It would be full audit trail. It would have on-chain finality of settlement, which is the important feature I just explained. We would have liquidity optimization, so we will not have different silos where we need to keep track on liquidity. It would be real-time and a single source of truth. So basically,
that to me sounds like he's describing RippleNet on the Xrpl. But what do I know, right? I'm just a grown-ass man in a Spider-Man mask, as I like to say. So that being said now, we hear the kind of money that the central banks want to move. Let's just jump into this now. So, what we have here, everybody's posted about this. Ripple Joins is the claims a share of 1.2 quadrillion derivatives market. Alright, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not just showing you old news. I'm going somewhere with this. I like to bring the information that nobody else brings. Alright, I'm my own individual here. So Ripple's now joining the likes of JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs in this 1.2 quadrillion derivatives market. ISDA memberships underscores growing acceptance of digital assets globally. Ripple has cast its stone in the vast pond of the derivatives market. Its stone. What did Ripple say they want to do? Make a dent in the universe. So, that being said, let's jump over to here. What is this? Let me just get over there so you can see what this is. This is the Future Leaders Derivatives Market Roadmap for innovation, okay? So now we're going to get a clear, concise picture of what they want to do. That way we're not making, we can now infer and come to our own assumptions based off of what they are telling us in regards to their roadmap. So, one of the things I like to do first is go to the table of contents here. And what I want to look at today with you guys is the use of digital assets and collateral management. And then 21, Appendix 1, high-level implementation roadmap. So we're going to page 14. Let's just do this. 1. Is this it here? Use of digital assets and collateral management. Perfect. So let's get into this here. The current collateral management model requires significant resources to service properly. For example, resources must be devoted to processing and verifying margin calls, processing instructions and notices to and from custodians, as well as maintaining and reconciling the various records involved. Recalling the substitute collateral assets into also presents considerable operational challenges and can impact capital and liquidity ratios. These are precisely the type of labor-intensive processes that blockchain technology can help to alleviate. This section of the paper will discuss how blockchain technology can be leveraged to streamline collateral management practices. So, the current challenges, as recent advances in technology continue to transform certain aspects of financial markets, collateral management has seemingly continued to operate unaffected. The process of moving collateral between counterparties today looks much like it did years ago. It still entails a series of relatively manual operations involving various notices and instructions circulating between a host of parties, each with their own internal records to update and maintain. Imagine that? That's brutal. So here we are now, lack of collateral optimization. In October 2020, ISDA published the ISDA Collateral Management Transformation Toolkit, collateral settlement automation, which provides resources to help ISDA members to achieve transformation in collateral management. In that white paper, based on input from ISDA members, gathered through member outreach and a collateral management transformation survey, ISDA identified several pain points and challenges around collateral settlement. Nothing that it is a time-consuming, resource-intensive, and capital liquidity burdensome process. Jesus, that's a long... Yeah. While the white paper focused on the automation of many manual processes around transfer of collateral, for example, sending, affirming margin and managing margin calls, sending settlement instructions, and confirming settlement status. Some of those challenges are also applicable to the transfer of collateral itself. Regulatory initial margin. Phase 6. So the final phase. So we're in the final phase, okay, of the unclear margin rules, which is the UMR, across multiple jurisdictions. So there we go, right? The same for same. Global regulations is anticipated to bring an estimated 775 more entities into scope of the regulatory initial margin requirements from September 1st, 2022. So 775 more entities. Wow. I wonder who those are. This is more entities than any other phase and more than double the number that was brought into scope by Phase 5, which impacted more than 300 firms. This will introduce exponentially greater challenges than any other phase due to the increased number of in-scope entities. Additional custodian onboarding and know your customer KYC requirements, and higher demand for high quality collateral. Phase 6 entities are also much less likely to have implemented automated collateral management processes, while ISDA has developed documentation solutions such as ISDA Create to facilitate the negotiation. I can look into that, ISDA Create. The negotiation and execution of collateral relationships. The scale of the effort required for Phase 6 should not be underestimated. Okay, timely transfer of collateral, fragmented collateral, rehypothecation, okay, and collateral identification, technological benefits. I want to get down to the appendix now. So, here we go. Here's the roadmap first, which is leading into the roadmap. So the underlying technology needed to support digitized collateral is far from theoretical. Far from it. The US dollar stablecoin market is currently over 175 billion. This is from back in May 2022. The technology with a B. The technology to support digital assets has been in production since Bitcoin first came online in 2009. And there are many applications that currently use digital assets as collateral in the more retail focused decentralized finance markets. The missing piece here is expanding the list of eligible assets and bridging together this technology with institutions. Missing piece. That's the missing piece. I wonder what a bridging asset would look like. Guess we'll have to wait and find out. With existing collateral management processes, for market participants, there's both technical and non-technical work that needs to be done, and certain legal assessments too. Development and use of DLT to transfer digital assets. So market participants and technology developers should collaborate closely to develop DLT platforms that can accommodate legally robust and regulatory compliant digital asset-based collateral. Okay, the roadmap is what I want to get down to now. I want to show you the roadmap. There it is. Okay, that's not what I wanted there. Conclusion, appendix. Here we go. High-level implementation roadmap. So, use of a digital or DLT in transaction reporting. So, market participants should adopt the DLT-based trade data network as an authoritative data store. So, store value. Market participants should continue working closely with trade associations such as ISDA to develop common technology standards. Xrpl's now a member of theirs. Market participants and technology developers should ensure DLT-based networks can integrate with legacy systems. That's the whole premise of the Xrpl and Xrp, is to integrate with the legacy system. They're not here to shake and move and shake and bake and change the whole system up yet. Everything has to transition slowly and seamlessly, and that's what Xrpl's doing. Market participants should engage with regulators, right, to achieve recognition and facilitate the use of DLT in transition reporting. Market participants should continue expanding common standards in derivatives market to other financial products. Use of digital assets and collateral management. Market participants and technology developers should collaborate closely to develop DLT platforms that can accommodate legally robust and regulatory compliant digital asset-based collateral. All segments of the derivatives market, for example, sell side, buy side, and custodians, should migrate and adopt DLT-based solutions to effect and facilitate the transfer of digital assets as collateral. So when you hear these lawmakers, as they tend to be called, and regulators saying we're not using DLT, so why is the derivatives market right here in their roadmap saying that you need to transfer and update to a DLT-based technology? Come on, folk. Another thing I want to get into here now is not I want to move aside from ISDA and jump into the WTO and show you a bit about who the WTO is and what and how they actually function. Okay, so on to the WTO. What is the WTO? The World Trade Organization is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. At its heart are the WTO agreements, negotiated and signed by the bulk of the world's trading nations and ratified in their parliaments. The goal is to help producers of goods and services, exporters and importers conduct their business. So this has to do with the Electronic Trade Document Act 2023, which when you saw XDC surging and spiking, this is involved in that. Same with Xrp. Xrp is also involved in trade finance. Most people don't really talk about that. They just know banks. Yes, banks. But there's a lot of wholesale money moving behind the scenes here. So now that we know who they are, the highest governing body of the WTO here, the topmost decision-making body of the WTO is the Ministerial Conference, which usually meets every 2 years. It brings together all members of the WTO, all of which are countries or customs unions. The Ministerial Conference can take decisions on all matters under any of the multilateral trade agreements. And here, The WTO is run by its members, its member governments. All major decisions are made by the members as a whole, either by ministers who meet at least once every 2 years, or by the ambassador or delegate who meet regularly in Geneva. Do you notice the trend there? Geneva. Do you know where the WEF meet? In Geneva. every year. Then you have the Bilderbergs meeting, then just so on and so forth. But that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you found some value in this. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, love it, and share it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.